believe that you don't want to have children, when in reality you actually biologically do, and the reason you're doing these acts is only to reproduce. That's the whole purpose of it. It only feels good because your body is driving you to reproduce. That's just how nature programmed you, but the purpose of it is only to reproduce, to create children, which is why 99% of people on Earth want to have children. Except that most of them have been brainwashed to believe that they are expensive or whatever, but they still do these acts to reproduce nonstop.
The term DINK is becoming more prominent now because of financial challenges, and they see children as just another financial challenge that maybe they don't want to take.
Which is very wrong. I know this one subscriber who had a child in California and he paid around 35,000 US dollars for the delivery. I don't know if there were complications. I think that it was a simple birth, but California is generally expensive, and because you have to pay for a lot yourself in the US, unlike in Europe, that's why the bills can really pile up. Of course, you could also simply do a home birth. If you would have children at a natural age, not so incredibly late, as many people do it nowadays, then there would also be no complications, especially if you would eat natural food you're supposed to eat as a human being, which is raw meat. Especially if you eat organs, a lot of fat, get some good quality blood, then your delivery is going to be perfect, no pain, no complications.
So what's it like to live with a dual income and no children? And will it be the future of American households?
If it would be the future of American households, then Americans would die out, because to even keep up this population, people need to have more than 2 children. They need to account for themselves and then all of the deaths of today. It's just impossible to keep up the population numbers.
According to a 2023 survey of DINKs, finance played a major role in their decision to not have children. More than a quarter of respondents said they simply aren't able to financially support a child.
That's very interesting. It's such incredible misinformation. I know myself how cheap it is to have a child. There's really nothing cheaper on earth. You really don't need to spend much money whatsoever. But the system in the US is pretty different still. I know that it's very manageable.
At the moment.
When we advise clients about having children, we honestly don't even give them the full real details and the real numbers. It's one of those things, if you actually see the math of it all, it might make you decide to not have children.
This is absolute nonsense. Oh wait, let me see what they say.
Costs a family an estimated $310,605 to raise a child born in 2015 to age 18.
How could that in any way be true? They add all of this stuff, which no child on earth even needs. They probably add PlayStations and whatever to that, which you should of course never let your child use. Most of what they recommend is actually useless for a child. A child only needs what the child naturally needs. A child needs food, for sure, healthy food, and that can cost, of course, but then again, in the US you can also hunt in a lot of states quite easily, and he needs the love from his parents. It's food and love in the first place, and then you can argue if he needs this or that, but really that's it, naturally speaking. And you can also homeschool your children in the US if your argument would be that you have to send them to some prestigious school, which would cost a lot of money. There's no actual arguments financially. I had this argument with people in the comments, and when we went down the list, they agreed in the end that there's actually no financial reasons not to have children.
Adjusted for higher future inflation. And that doesn't even include the cost of college.
So if you look at inflation...
College is garbage, but again, you can argue that you need it. Of course you don't. There's way better ways to live life. It's just a whole different topic about how useless college is. And again, in Europe, college is for free, whereas in the US you would have to pay. It's again a problem with the US, but you can easily go to a different country If you want to send your child to college for whatever reason, he or she could do it in Europe.
Within the child care market, it surpasses general overall inflation within the economy.
Some couples are contemplating having children at the same time that they're still paying off student loans that they incurred when they were...
Yes, and that is a problem. For sure, I can understand the problems that Americans have when it comes to their finances. In Europe, you don't have problems with just paying off your student loan. You could have them if you go to a very specific college, university, but it's incredibly rare that it happens. Usually, the government pays you to go to college. It's just a whole different system.
18 to 22 years old.
One of my very closest friends, she's been struggling with the reality that the take-home pay she makes is about equal to what childcare would be. That's a really hard position to be in. Seeing our friends really struggle with that balancing act has, I think, made me appreciate the flexibility that we have financially because we don't have children.
Besides saving on childcare, dinks can also fully reap the benefits of combining their finances.
Yeah, you combine your finances, and then what do you get out of that? What really makes you happy in life is to have children. You sit there with your dog, you do look pretty miserable, and then you have a lot of money which doesn't even exist on your laptop. You look at some symbols. What does it give you? Happiness? Some kind of fulfillment? Of course not, come on. Even you would have to admit that.
Our income's coming in and see how we're able to handle all of that because we don't have extra finances for the child. It's much more comfortable. We get to focus more on the things that we want to do and saving a lot of that money.
They even have a picture of the dog. Oh my god. Oh my god. I don't know what the comments are on this video. I hope that at least some people realize the absolute delusion that's going on in this video, because they absolutely worship this dog, which is a replacement for their child. Why else would you have a dog, especially in this day and age? The reason you do that is only because you want to reproduce so incredibly badly, which is why you do these acts to reproduce, but you probably protect yourself against it, but then at the same time you worship your dog and even have a photo of your dog where actually the photo of your child should be. It's just such a severe delusion. It's actually a kind of a mental illness.
For the future, and worry less about the day-to-day finances of the house and our bills.
Money isn't the only expense that dinks can save on.
The free time is actually one of the biggest things for me.
The free time. You even spend time with your dog outside, which is exactly what you would do with your child, except that you would want to spend a lot more time with your child because you would love your child so much, you would do everything for them. The so-called time spent with your child would be the best time of your life, literally. That's how it actually is for parents, and you don't realize it because you don't have children, because you protect yourself from happiness.
So we built me a little office/bedroom. We definitely have some more
Wow, cool. Now you can sit at the computer instead. Amazing.
hobbies. I build mechanical keyboards, like computer keyboards in my spare time, and just parts and stuff for that can be very expensive.
Not having children has given us the freedom to pursue other things, remodeling our home. I'm a beekeeper.
It's really handy, and I like doing stuff around the house. I wouldn't have the time to just do that after work if I feel like it, if I had, a child to care for.
Hey there! You're here because you want to make your business visible online. In this video, we're going to show you how with SEMrush you can do it. And
I don't really see why, and of course I could understand that some people may have some problems because they work all day, of course, which is why they need to get some kind of woman or guy also sometimes to help them take care of the children. But of course in nature this is not an issue. It's not generally an issue to have children. I even think that they understand that this is more of a modern issue, I hope. Of course in nature there's nothing as such that you need to do. Yeah, you go for a hunt, which is fun, and then you bring back the food, but the woman also doesn't work all day. She takes care of the children. There's never any so-called time problems.
More expenses leave dinks with more disposable income. Like,
Disposable income is power, it's stability, and for many people, it's security.
the security that having 6 months of income saved for emergencies gives you, that security was so helpful to us during COVID when I was out of work for 6 months. We have more tolerance for chaos, I think, because of our savings. Our new savings goal, which is like a shoot for the stars and hit the moon kind of, is saving $4,000 a month.
According to census data, Dinks can save 9% more for retirement each year compared to dual income couples with children. Another 2021 study found that childless adults aged 55.
This whole video is really essentially about money.
A personal median net worth of $153,900 compared to $130,400.
What the hell does it matter that you have some kind of numbers on your screen which don't even exist? Instead of having a child in front of you who loves you and you love them back, if you're a good parent, of course. Only people who are actually healthy and happy should have children. Don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying that everybody should just be having children. Most parents on earth are pretty horrible, as I have shown in my videos. But if you are happy and healthy, then it doesn't matter how much non-existing money you will save. At the end of the day, you will be much more happier with children.
For biological parents.
If you have $1 and you have to choose how to use it, I think prioritizing savings, retirements, investments, both in the equities market as well as things like real estate or second properties.
The hardest part of investing is just having the cash to do it. And so when you don't have your cash going to expenses that are related to children, that cash...
Okay, you invest freaking non-existing money in whatever, let's say crypto. You make tons of money, alright, you have $1 million, and then what now? What do you do with it? There's no love in your life, there's no happiness, not even really joy at that point anymore. When you're older, alone, maybe your spouse dies, hopefully not, but it can happen. You end up in a care home, develop dementia because of the food they feed you, and then you die.
Cash can go into those investment goals.
We started investing in our early 20s. I feel really safe because we have this strong nest egg of ETFs that are accessible and fairly liquid, and then we also have our long-term savings, which are tied up in IRAs. We can choose what our aging years look like because we've saved to plan for that eventuality.
It is well documented.
Your so-called aging years will be miserable because no matter how much money you save up, you will still end up being sick because you have no idea what humans are supposed to eat naturally, and there will be nobody to take care of you. I just don't get the point. You will still be miserable and alone in the end.
And it is that the younger you are when you start your savings and your retirement portfolio, the better off you are in the long run in terms of aggregate savings and your ability to accrue savings and wealth.
Just take the $310,605 it would take for a middle-income married family to raise a child.
Where do you come up with this number? They don't even list anything because they know that this number is nonsense.
But the rise of dinks isn't such great news for the economy as a whole. Historically, lower birth rates have been associated with slower economic growth, and critical social programs such as Social Security depend heavily on population growth.
We shouldn't strive to have a generation of young adults that are not reproducing, that would not be healthy for society, it wouldn't be healthy for the economy, it wouldn't be healthy for us as we age. So there are a lot of reasons why we do want to take investments in the next generation seriously.
For dinks, the biggest challenges are often not financial.
And I think we freaked a lot of people out when we were just a young married couple, and that was all there was.
He should use the money for a hair transplant. He has good hair, but he's probably gonna lose it in a few years, from what it seems like.
No baby afterwards. I had family members asking if something was wrong because it's been 5 years of a young, healthy couple not producing a child.
If anybody is considering becoming a dink, as a financial planner, I highly recommend that strategy. I recommend it to my clients. When my clients tell me that's an intentional choice they're going to make, I am a big fan of it.
With that disposable income, make a budget. How do you want to spend it? Make sure you put aside some money for fun.
Planning for your future, putting money away. If you're not going to have kids, make sure you still save money for your future because the world is a weird place right now, and who knows what it's going to be like in another 30, 40 years when we go to retire.
Overall, this seemed like a propaganda piece, but of course it's from CNBC, what else can you expect? They did say in the end that not everybody should be focusing on not having children, seeing as otherwise there will be economic problems, which is what this whole video is about, but of course also the problem that there won't be any more human beings left on Earth, which is a bigger problem than non-existing money, obviously. The couple didn't seem absolutely miserable, but they also didn't seem happy for sure. Not even with their dog, which is supposed to replace a child. They don't even seem to be conscious of that, and the ones who created this video also don't seem to be conscious of it. Of course, we don't know that. If it is a sort of a propaganda piece, then they know exactly what they are showing, and in a way they are making fun of their audience, not realizing that the couple is actually longing for a child so much that they even show the photo of the dog where the child is supposed to be. There's no money on Earth, even if you become a millionaire, that's gonna in any way replace a child. Obviously, seeing as money doesn't exist, it's not tangible. Whereas, as I said, a child gives you love, you give the child love back. It's a relationship that is irreplaceable, and if you try to in any way connect it to money or even compare it to money as if it's somehow good that you're saving money and that's why you should do it, then you're just absolutely delusional. Thanks for watching. Yo guys, many of you asked me to review a video by Wheat Waffles. That's a Black Pill channel, although a lot of you said that he's not proper Black Pill. But he's for sure more Black Pill than Alexander Grace, which is another channel that I reviewed, and he turned out to be 40% Black Pill at most, and the rest was Blue Pill. The reason I said Blue Pill is because I put Red Pill and Blue Pill in the same category. I only have two categories for life, natural and non-natural, that's all I care about. And Black Pill, for the most part, from what I've learned, and we will learn more today, is mostly natural, whereas Blue Pill and Red Pill are completely unnatural. Everything that they teach goes completely against nature. And you may wonder, why do I care about these pill topics? I don't, as such. I don't care what is red pill, black pill, whatever. It's all a joke to me. Even the names, pill, and also the channel Wheat Waffles. It's funny because grains are the main reason humans degenerated to the point where we are now. I'm not sure if he even realizes that. Probably not. Why would you use a name like that? But anyway, I do care about it in the sense that I'm the only guy online who promotes natural food for human beings, and it is rare to see nature being promoted in any way nowadays. And when I saw Black Pill a long time ago already, I saw that humans are actually promoting a natural relationship between a male and a female, or at least they are explaining how it should be, and that's what Black Pill is about for the most part. Anyway.
I'd rather a 10. And you don't understand. Well, I'm a 10. I go to school, I go to work, and have a great career.
I go to school, I go to work. That's slavery, and you may be able to appeal to other slaves. They may actually care about it, especially if some guy wants to use you, because you're obviously not a 10 naturally. And I don't like to rate human beings. I will go with it for the sake of this video.
Guys, I'm going to be honest with you. Nowadays, it seems that all women, regardless of their own attractiveness, is walking around thinking they're a perfect 10 out of 10. All forms of modesty and simple common sense have gone straight out the window.
I wouldn't say that this is true because I've seen a lot of interviews with women where they rate themselves or say if they are beautiful, and many women don't see themselves as beautiful. He's probably overreacting a little bit.
And it seems all women are walking around with a chip on their shoulder thinking they're God's gift to mankind. Well guys, in this video I'm going to be outlining the 8 reasons, yeah you heard that right, 8 reasons, for why the rate of attractiveness inflation is going through the roof, or in simple words, why every woman now thinks in 2021 she's a perfect 10. Number 1, and this should be by far the biggest reason, simple. Now, the thing with simple is that a lot of people mistake for it only going in one direction. They think it only goes from the bottom.
I want to go through these ratings again, just for the sake of this video. It should be interesting to get a perspective on how he views human beings, and I've seen 2 or 3 of his videos before. I know that he has the scale of 2 to 8, he doesn't go above that, there's no 9s or 10s, and I've never understood why, but whatever. These 2 guys, I want to put as 8. in any universe. Maybe 7. Yeah. These two. This guy 7, yes. This guy 5, maybe 6. 6s, yes, definitely. 5s, no, or like 4 or 3. That's why it doesn't make sense to not have a 1 or 9 or 10. They should be lower. 4, I suppose. And yeah, I'm gonna comment on that. She's maybe a 7. She's an 8 for sure. And this kind of stuff really is objective. There's nothing much subjective to it because pretty much every human being on Earth is gonna rate her the same. Definitely not 7, especially the nose. That's a 5 at most. Maybe, yeah, no. Maybe 6, that's a 3 or 2? What the hell? Why is she 6? That's a 6. That's a 3. That's a 3, 4. Yeah, that's a 4. Yeah, okay, not even gonna comment on the rest. Alright.
It's the low value men at the bottom who are bombarding the women at the top with endless amounts of free attention, validation, and God forbid, money by paying for things like OnlyFans. But in reality, all women across the board of attractiveness have an endless selection of simps to provide these things. Because what ends up happening is the simps start by throwing attention, money, and validation at the most attractive women. But when they don't get anything in return, they have no choice but to move down to the next level, and then the next level, and the next, and the next. So it's just this endless cycle of simps undercutting other simps. And whoever undercuts and simps the most, supposedly wins in the end. Yeah, that last bit's important, supposedly. Because what happens next is all the low-value women at the bottom, who now have a fresh plate of simps to choose from, have this backwards rationalisation. Well, this is interesting. I'm getting all of this validation. Therefore, this must mean I am special. Therefore, I must also be highly attractive. So the final piece of the puzzle, and also by sipping at the works, is all of the women at the bottom who have been senselessly sipped over have now had their egos inflated beyond return. And all that's been left is the guys at the bottom have now lost a ridiculous amount of their own time, energy, and resources, and all for nothing. Now, the last point I'm going to make on this before I move on to the next reason is this is exactly why I have zero sympathy for simps. Because the only impact that simps have on the dating market is inflating women's egos, which in turn messes up the system and spoils it for anyone else who actually had a chance.
It's definitely delusional for these guys to ever even message any of the girls above or really try to do anything. Really just accept reality, and if you want to be together with somebody, definitely choose somebody in your own league. If anything, I know that it's painful, but that's the reality.
Anyway, now moving on to point number 2 for why women overestimate their worth. Women equating their hookup options to their actual value. Now, because of the nature of the current dating market, just about every average woman, and in fact even some below average women, have access to regular intimacy and hookups from the guys at the top. Chad is shared between everyone. Now, what this means is the women in the middle end up thinking this: well, I can hook up easily with Chad. However, Chad doesn't want to commit. Therefore, all I need to do is just find one that will commit. So back to the dating market, all the average women end up wasting time chasing and trying to pin down the Chads, and they string along and friend zone all the guys they're actually on the same level.
Yes, exactly, and the guys at the top, so to speak, they will never want to commit to the girls who are so incredibly after them simply because they have no respect for you. A man who is out of your league, so to speak, cannot have respect for a woman who is below. It's impossible, quite literally. It's the same for women. They will friend zone you, you can run after them, maybe they will do something with you, sometime out of desperation, for money, whatever, but they will never want to actually be with you, and being with you means to procreate. A guy will really only want to actually be with you when he wants to procreate with you, otherwise there's no future, so to speak.
The ones who would have given an equal relationship. But instead, the women's attention is all focused on the top 10 to 15% of guys who they are able to hook up with, but not willing to give their commitment. Women, just because you can hook up with someone doesn't mean you're on their level, and certainly doesn't mean you can get commitment from them either. Moving on to point number 3, acceptance of unattractiveness. And this does not apply to men. It's almost exclusively for women. and this is mostly the result of feminism. Now, this idea in the last 10 years has pretty much stepped in and said all women, irrespective of their own attractiveness, are all deserving of a perfect 10. This belief system has tried to force down society's throat that all women, of all shapes and sizes, are all attractive in their own unique way. It is seen as grossly inappropriate to highlight the flaws in a woman's beauty.
Again, that's the same point from before, but this is not the reality in Europe at least, and I'm pretty sure that this guy is from the UK. Maybe it's a bit different there. I could understand that in the US they are really pushing feminism, but they're pushing it everywhere, but women in Europe don't see themselves as 10 often. Yeah, definitely not.
Even if said flaws pose a huge risk to their physical health and can greatly reduce their life expectancy. Therefore, they are instead celebrated. And I've talked about this in my previous videos. I'll say again, try typing the words plus size into Google. There will not be one man in sight. In fact, I could bet money that you'd be scrolling for longer than the length of this video in order to just find one single man. Moving on to point number 4.
That's very true, but to be fair, a fat, obese man still looks way more unattractive than a fat, obese woman. There is just a pretty big difference.
The media promoting delusion. Now, before I cover this point, because I'm about halfway through the video, now is a good time to press the like button and leave any thoughts you have in the comments below, as it helps the YouTube algorithm. Anyway, carrying on with the video. Media promoting delusion. Now, about 5 years ago, there was this film that came out called 50 Shades of Grey, and in fact, the book that it was based on was one of the highest grossing of the decade. And if you've not heard of this film or the book, it's basically about this billionaire Chad who goes for and ends up in a relationship with some fairly average women. A similar storyline happens in other movies and TV shows, such as the highly acclaimed Sex and the City. This series, too, showed women, despite being in their 30s and 40s, still being able to pin down and get commitment from Chads. So the point I'm trying to make here is that the media is portraying the idea that any woman, irrespective of what she brings to the table, can get a relationship from a Chad, no matter how old or average. Now moving on to point number 5, ego.
Yeah, it's pretty true, and Sarah Jessica Parker, she has somewhat of a horse face, people always like to point that out. Her husband is called Matthew Broderick, who is also an actor, and he's average at best, I would say below average. They really do fit together, and that's generally how it is for celebrities also when it comes to money and status. It doesn't matter how rich or how famous of an actor you are, you can only attract people as bad or good looking as yourself, and that's just one of the many examples. And just so you understand, it's not as if you can do anything about your genetics, and you shouldn't obsess over this. You should just accept who you are. I'm not talking about this topic because that's the only thing that you should care about. It's so incredibly important. No, genetics are out of your hand. Accept reality. You are who you are. It's not as if chasing women is the most important thing in life, not at all. And the same goes for women and chasing men. Really, there's a lot more things to focus on.
Now, I didn't know just how big of a reason this was until I came across this scientific study titled Resisting Connection Following Social Exclusion. Now, this study attempted to see how a woman would react when first being approached by an attractive man, and then afterwards being approached by a less attractive man. The results were as follows. When the attractive man accepted the woman was also very likely to accept the less attractive man. In fact, he was accepted an average of 80%. Now, this isn't surprising, because after she gets accepted by the attractive man, she's probably feeling quite good about herself, and she's got nothing to lose by accepting the less attractive man, so she also gives him a pass. However, for the second part of the study, when the woman gets first rejected by the attractive man, they found she was then much less likely to accept the less attractive man's advances. In fact, his acceptance rate dropped from 80% to a staggering 24%. That's nearly a 4 times drop. And the reason for this is because after the first rejection, she probably felt violated and had taken a huge blow to her self-esteem. So to recover and attempt to regain some of her self-worth, she lashes out on the less attractive guy by rejecting him. Now, I found this study very interesting because it shares such close parallels to the current dynamics of the dating market. Because think about online dating, and for those who don't know how the Tinder algorithm works, the most popular profiles are shown first. So these are shown at the top of the card stack, and are the first profiles a woman will see after logging on, while the less attractive profiles are shown last. Therefore, if an average or below average woman gets mostly negative responses from the popular profiles, the attractive ones, then the study shows the woman getting butthurt from this will result in her lashing out on the lower ranked profiles.
That's interesting. I generally don't recommend using Tinder or any dating apps whatsoever. I generally don't recommend for anybody to try to meet somebody online. Definitely always do it in real life. There's many ways, many places to do that.
And she will do this in order to rebuild some of her self-respect. Point number 6, a woman and her blue-pill friends inflating her ego. Now, the 2 screenshots shown on either side of the screen are typical of the comments a woman will expect to see on her Instagram profile. So, of course, we have a couple simps giving her free validation, and I have checked their profiles, and they are actually guys. But what's arguably more concerning is her and all of her female friends blowing smoke at one another. In my experience, I see these types of comments vastly outnumbering the one simp from simps. Here's where you see comments like, my queen, you're gorgeous, stunner, you go girl. And the dumbest part about all of this isn't the comments themselves, rather it's the people that are sending them.
I could never imagine saying something like that online to somebody. It's just so incredibly incomprehensible to me.
Receiving them. Women will believe anything their friends tell them these days. So if 20 of a girl's female friends are sending these copy and paste comments on every post she uploads, even if the girl herself is average to below average in looks, she's still going to walk away patting herself on the back, thinking she's a lot more attractive than she actually is, thinking she's a perfect 10. Point number 7, entitlement. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I was watching a Darius M video, who's actually one of my favourite channels, and I remember him saying there are a lot more overweight women than men. And after that video, I looked it up, and it's true. This is data from the NHS website in the UK, my country. And for 16 to 24-year-olds, there are 2 times more overweight women than men. 20% versus 10%. And this is similar pattern from 25 to 34-year-old overweight. And I remember Darius saying the main reason for this is because women don't get in shape because they have no need to. The truth is, men know that if they're obese, no woman is going to be with them. But most women know, especially those who are overweight, that men will still be attracted to them even if they are packing extra pounds.
Yes, this is true, but as I said before, imagine an obese guy. It is understandable why pretty much no woman is going to be into him, except if she has some really strange mentally ill fetish. And there are fetishes like that also for women, but it is not comparable because a woman who is, okay, obese, yeah, but if she's somewhat overweight, she can still look quite attractive. But a guy who is even a little bit overweight already looks really unattractive. I don't think that you can compare men and women like this because men and women also have different kinds of body fat in nature, and women in general have more body fat in nature also, so it's just a natural way for a woman to be.
And they will be able to tell you that from experience. Now, if this reason is true, then it shows they have a sense of entitlement. It shows they're entitled to somebody more attractive than they are, despite bringing far less to the table and putting in little to no effort. And in fact, I've even seen this in my own personal experiences. I've literally heard overweight women say that they will never date an overweight man. That is entitlement at its simplest form.
Yeah, I don't fully agree with him about this point. For the most part, everything that he has said was pretty on point. But it is understandable why a woman who is overweight and really is closer to her natural weight wouldn't want to be with a guy who's also overweight, even if it's the same weight, because as I said, naturally the weights are just different anyway.
Finally, moving on to point number 8, coping. What I've noticed is nearly every woman, if you ask them the top 3 things that make them attractive, it will almost undoubtedly be a completely different list from another woman's. Just like the woman from the clip at the beginning. Her 3 reasons for why she is a perfect 10 was because she goes to school, goes to work, and has a good personality. But based on how...
Also about the personality, firstly I don't use the word personality because it comes from the word person, which means slave essentially. I only use the word character. The word personality is new and was hardly ever used in the past. It's always been character, and of course in nature everybody has more or less the same character. There's really not that much of an incredible difference because everybody is more or less chemically the same. our characters develop because of the chemical state of our body, and if we are not shut up with drugs and all kinds of poisonous foods such as wheat waffles as children, then our characters will more or less stay the same as they naturally should be.
Potentially she was being, I very much doubt there's much truth in this last one. This woman, she believes that these three things alone make her a perfect human, is almost certainly true. Because here are the actual three things that men care about most, the holy trinity of what actually makes a perfect human. First of all, hot. This means not overweight. 2, young, or in other words, under 30.
Okay, these are interesting points already. I agree, of course, but not overweight. It depends what he means by overweight. When you look at women in nature, a lot of them have quite a lot of body fat. For example, the girl in the picture looks more or less normal, average, but even if she had some more body fat, she would not look unattractive. I don't fully agree with him about this weight thing when it comes to women. I fully agree that men who are even somewhat overweight look really unattractive automatically, but a woman's body is just different. Yeah, I think a lot of guys would agree with this. But yeah, she has to be hot, as in beautiful, attractive, and so on. Absolutely, every guy will agree with that. But that's just nature. That's what the black hole is about, which is why I like it, because that literally is how you build a relationship. The most important thing in a relationship between a man and a woman is that they find each other attractive, otherwise the relationship will always fail. So yes, you have to be hot, as people say nowadays. And the young, under 30, this is a thing that I can't really talk about on YouTube, unfortunately. Under 30 is of course not young. That's ridiculous. I think that he possibly also himself says this on YouTube because that's acceptable on YouTube. Somebody who is 27, 28 is of course by no definition young anymore, and they are way past the age where they should be getting children, which is really the only way you can measure age at the end of the day. That's how you measure if a woman is young or not.
And 3, undamaged. This means not promiscuous, and also no kids.
Yes, very true. Overall, the points are very true. It's just a few details that I would change, but yeah.